Are you guys a fan of the show? If you are, we have a VIP subscription that you can sign up to get much more of your girls here.
Become a premium subscriber and get access to exclusive episodes, ad-free listening, discounts on merch, and so much more. Plus, it's only $5 a month, which is way cheaper than your everyday latte.
To sign up, just go ahead and go to the show notes and you can click the link.
Yes.
Are you ready? Wait, is my mic good or does it need to be higher? What?
She was just in front of you getting it perfect, and then you moved it.
Sorry. Shut up, Ashley.
No, she literally started here, went over there,
Shut up, Ashley.
Looked at the camera.
You know I have the ADHD.
You pushed it
I don't
so
remember
hard.
anything. Yes. Well, there's our opening.
Today's episode is brought to you by Pair Eyewear. So we are officially in August, but that doesn't mean the summer things stop. I don't know about you guys, but I have plenty of beach days planned, some camping trips planned. As long as the sun is out, I will be out having fun. And wherever the sunny days take you, a pair of sunglasses should always be within reach. With Pair Eyewear, you can switch from prescription frames to sunglasses for UV protection or polarization in a snap. This summer, you can set your kid at heart free with their new Mickey and Friends collection, from playful patterns to subtle nods. It features iconic characters like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and more. Explore the new collection and find your style, and you can get 15% off your first pair by using code ADVICE at paireyewear.com. And can we talk about their sun tops? Pairs sun tops are the ultimate summer companion. It can be so annoying walking around with two pairs of glasses. So try Pair sun tops. They go with any design and collection, and you can pick out different ones for different moods you might have. And if you're the type of person who needs to try a pair on to see if they fit or look good on you, guess what? You can with Pair's virtual try-on. They have base frames for men, women, and kids that you can virtually try on starting at $60. So celebrate friendship and adventure this summer with Pair Eyewear. Go to paireyewear.com and use code ADVICE, ADVICE, for 15% off your first pair, and mention that Unsolicited Advice sent you in your post-checkout survey to support me and Taryn. That's paireyewear.com, code ADVICE. Also, if you have any stories that you would like us to read on our podcast, this is your moment to shine. Send your emails at, what's the email called, Taryn?
Advice, unsolicitedpod@gmail.com. It can be funny. It can be sad. It can be deep. It can be light. It can be your story. It can be a friend's. It could be short. It could be long. All shapes and sizes are welcome. So send it in today. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
No, it's just, it was funny. It was really
funny?
It was really funny. She was being so meticulous about the getting it right in front of your face, but not like blocking your face.
Okay, well, in her defense, she tightened it really well, so I didn't really move it that much.
I mean, let's check the video.
Shut your mouth. Ashley,
You pushed it so
leave
high.
me be.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice. I'm Ashley.
Welcome back to Live Bullying with Ashley and Taryn.
That's Taryn. Oh my God.
You know what's funny is my whole life, I've always had people tell me like I'm the easiest person to like make fun of, or to like, it's just fun to like pick fun at me. And, or like I've had people be like, I don't know why, but I just want to like punch you. And I'm like, what is
in the face?
What is that trait? Like, what is that quality trait? But it's like not like a mean thing, but it's like you're so fun to make fun of. And I'm like, I get it, because I'm a good target, because I usually just like laugh along, you know? But
you're an easy target. That's not a bad thing. It means you're entertaining to be around. Thanks. And that's why we have you to thank for all of our tearing it up content.
Yeah, for sure. But I literally, Ashley, I'm being a little dramatic, but not that dramatic. I almost died on the way here. We need to explain. Please. Okay. I don't know if I feel like everyone in my life knows this, but I have like two big fears when driving, and I love driving. Like I've always commuted since like a young age. So like I feel like I'm a really confident driver and a good driver. But when it comes to being on the freeway, I have like two fears. Mm-hmm. One of them is something like coming through my window. Mm-hmm. Like I've always had that fear because I know of someone who like passed away from that. Like something flew
Like
through the
being
window.
impaled?
Yeah. And then my other one is like either someone jumping from an overpass or throwing something from an overpass, and like when my car is going under.
Yeah.
Guess what happened
Someone
today?
threw something?
Yes, Ashley. So I was like driving on the freeway, and
Where
luckily,
were you? Sorry, I need some background.
I was like on the 210.
Okay.
And it's kind of in that area where it's like, I don't know if it's like what do you call where there's like water and, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like the wash. The wash. It's like over in that section. So it's kind of just like an empty stretch of like highway.
Yeah.
And because I have that fear, anytime like I'm going under an overpass, I always like glance at the top. And so I saw this guy walking, and then all of a sudden, like I see him starting to do this like weird movement, and he like hurls this giant bag over over the side.
What's
and then
giant?
as it's falling, I would say like a
Trash bag size?
kitchen trash bag.
Okay.
As it goes over, it basically all this stuff starts flying out of it. And so I had like 2 seconds because it was right over my lane.
Yeah.
And luckily, like there wasn't any cars, so I was able to kind of like swerve and like get out of the way. But and luckily it was filled with like giant bottles and cans. It looked like
it was full of recycling?
I guess. Like, I don't know. So thank God. I mean, it could have been like he was throwing rocks or like something crazy. But it was like just to see that motion and then see like just basically like a firework of unknown objects flying.
Yeah.
And so I swerved, and like I think a can hit the front of my car, and then I ran over like I would say like a gallon jug type thing.
Like a milk jug or something.
Because I was able to like get out of the way of most of it.
Jeez.
And then I looked in my rear view mirror, and like the whole freeway was like covered and everyone was like swerving and stuff. But isn't that so wild?
It's terrifying. Literally, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, there was a homeless guy in
Yes.
downtown LA throwing rocks.
And somebody died in a crash, right?
Someone died. Yeah. It was the wildest thing. And like cars were like destroyed.
Yes.
And he was taking these
Boulders.
When you think rocks, I think we all think like little beach rocks
No, it
or
was
like,
like
you know,
boulder.
like pavement rocks. They were like big,
Yeah.
like softball, baseball sized rocks, and he was just chucking them.
Dude, they were,
at
I would say they
cars.
were closer to like a volleyball. Some of them. They
Some
were
of
like
them,
huge.
yeah, he had some big ones. I don't know if he brought them all over there, but like he was ruining people's cars
Yeah.
and obviously killed someone. It was so sad.
No, it's so scary because I mean that stuff can happen, and like especially I mean you have to be like demented or like having a terrible day to like do something like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really sucks when you have a fear, like an established fear, but it's never happened to you. So the thing that keeps you grounded is
Yeah.
okay, but like it's in your mind, like what are the odds of it actually?
Yeah.
But now I'm screwed because
It's like me actually falling and breaking my 2 front teeth.
then you're like, well,
Then I'm like, well,
guess I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my
guess
life because I'm never taking a
walking
step.
again.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah, it was so scary.
Oh,
So,
that's terrifying. Well, I'm glad you
everyone
survived.
say a thankful prayer
Yep.
to baby Jesus for protecting me
Yeah.
because I'm here. Hello.
Thank God. Taryn, you just had your birthday.
I did.
Happy late birthday.
Thanks, girl. This year was kind of weird because I didn't really plan anything. And so I thought I was going to be like depressed because usually I'm like the whole month is like my birthday month and I have like all these things planned because
Yeah, I think there
I'm
were like
obsessed with my birthday.
3 events I went to last year.
Yes. But I don't know why I kind of forgot this year. Like I just didn't think about it. And so my actual birthday, I had like nothing planned. And then like slowly, like Ryan and Julia took me to breakfast. And then I saw like I'm on vacation right now with my family. I just drove back for today. But like my family did like a birthday dinner the next day, which Ash came and surprised me.
We should put the video in.
No, we should. So we have a timeshare and we had like the corner unit. So it has like the main room and then like a side room. And so the 2 doors are there. And I hear a knock at the door and I went And I look through the peephole and I just see the side of like a blonde woman. And I was just like, who is this? Like, it's clearly like they have the wrong number or wrong like room.
Yeah.
And so I like open the door slowly and look out, and it's Ashley facing the other door with like this cheesy smile. And
I'm vlogging.
It took her like 2 Mississippi seconds to like turn and realize like, oh, I'm at the wrong door.
Yeah.
So I was like cry laughing. It was so funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. Taryn's family has done this every year for vacation. So her mom had texted me, and Vanessa and I kind of planned out like, oh, I'll come. Like, when are you guys doing Taryn's birthday? I'll come out for that. So they were like, all right, we're celebrating on Sunday, so come out then. I'm like, perfect. So I'm like, she sends me the address. I'm like, all right, I'll bring her favorite coffee, and I'll get a little like happy birthday balloon. I literally like woke up so early, was at my parents' house, drove out. I was there by 9. I tell you, I kid you not. I get to Starbucks in Palm Desert at 9 a.m. in the morning. It's 99 degrees outside.
Yep.
I literally was like
unwell.
Oh my God. I was like borderline like going to explode the entire day. But I get the coffee, I come, and I'm looking at the room number, and I should have known because every time you guys get 2 rooms, but I'm standing in front of the room that I was told that you were in, and I'm just like perfectly posed. And then I hear the other door open, and I'm like, oh,
there she is.
It was really fun and really hot.
No, it was like disgusting. Apparently they've had like record heat this week. They had like I think it got to 124, which to me is there should be a mass warning, like do not leave your house.
Yeah.
Because that's like skin melting.
That actually is skin. Like I feel like you would blister up so fast. Yeah. Anyways. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Taryn had her birthday. I did my half birthday.
Yes.
That was so much fun.
Yes.
It was the weekend of birthdays.
Yeah, it really was. And it's still coming. I'm eventually going to have a birthday dinner, like with all my friends. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be fun.
It will.
All right. So moving forward, we decided we are going to start giving you guys the update episodes in like real time when we receive them.
Yeah.
I think the update episode got so daunting because we were so behind that this just makes sense. We're going to start giving you updates a little bit every episode and see how that goes.
Yeah. Love that.
I'm not going to say the title because it gives it away, but let's dive into it. Hi, Ash and Taryn. So remember when you did that podcast about the girl who was super scared to move in with her boyfriend? She was worried about missing her family and maintaining her relationships with her family. Well, that was me. And guess what? He just broke up with me yesterday.
Wait. Okay, wait. Because when she wrote us, she already would have moved in.
I'm assuming by now.
I mean, remember, because like we read it and it was like, I'm going to move in 2 days, but we read it like a week after that.
Yes.
So it was like she had already moved in.
Yes.
And when was that? Because how long had she been living with him?
I don't know when that email was.
Okay. But Mandy's our phone a friend. Mandy, can you look that up for us?
She writes, yep, super sad. Honestly, it was a super mature conversation. My only problem is we've been together for 5+ years since we were 16 and 17, which is one of the main points of his breakup, I might add. Ew. But regardless, don't make it make sense. I don't know. But regardless, for one, how do I get over this? I'm so scared of entering this new chapter of my life without someone by my side. I'm about to go to school and become a doctor. I'm staying in the place that we moved in together, which is another one of my problems. I feel him literally everywhere, but our lease isn't up until October. Lastly, how will I ever be able to trust and love again? I feel so lost and seeking some advice from my internet older sisters. Love you guys. Anonymous. Isn't that crazy? Like, I distinctly remember her being like, this is the plan. I have school. Like, this is just our new next chapter. It makes sense for us. And she was like so nervous about it.
Well, it's funny because that wasn't even the part she was nervous about. It was about like the family and like missing my family and whatever. But it was like, she was so confident in them and their relationship. So like, I don't think that was even something we like talked about because it was like
we were so focused on
you're gonna like you'll find your new norm,
see your family.
like you'll see your family.
Yeah, there'll be a new groove, a new flow state.
It was in April. So April, May, June, July, So like a few months.
Yeah. It looks like the email was sent July 18th. So this is really recent. And it said that he broke up with her yesterday.
Yeah. And if they moved in April, so that's like a few months. And then she has till October, which luckily that's only a couple months.
Yeah.
So they must have had like a 6-month.
Yeah. Jeez. That is tough. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The only thing the 5+ years of being together, being a part of his breakup, I'm assuming because they have been dating since they were so young. I'm assuming he's like, oh, I haven't like experienced life, or I'm like wanting to like try something new, like that being one of the main points, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
because you were high school sweethearts.
You couldn't have figured that out 3 months before that.
Yeah, I'm like, why move in? Why suggest moving in together if you were feeling a little bit like, that's so soon.
It's like the whole Tiana and Cody drama going on TikTok. Have you seen that?
No,
it's like everywhere. It's like a NFL player, and he proposed to this girl. They had like been together for a while, and then like a couple months after cheated on her, so she like broke off the engagement. And it's like this whole thing of like, what, like,
why propose when you want to cheat?
Yeah, because the thing is like, I think a lot of people cheat when like they feel a lack, or they feel like,
right.
I mean, obviously that's not always the case, but majority of the time. So like, why would you like go out of your way to like commit to somebody if like
you would assume that he wouldn't be the committing type?
Yeah, or moving in with someone, like that's terrifying. Like, why would you do that unless you were like, no, this is like
if you're a cheater, like why would you even want to get married? Like why would that be a thing that you're like trying to do? That's crazy.
No, wild.
I'm so sorry. So she needs a little quick advice on how to get over this and how to trust and love again.
Well, honestly, there's no quick advice.
Yeah, I was going to say, so especially after 5 years.
Comb through some of our older episodes where we like share about like getting over a breakup or learning to trust again, which there's been multiple.
Yeah.
I think like if I were to say anything, I would say my biggest breakup advice is always like, don't shy away from like the hard emotions, like take them on full force, like be sad, depressed, like at the end of your rope, and like let all of that out. So like then you can like rebuild and start to focus. I think sometimes we get right into like, how do I distract myself or like not feel this? And I think it's good to like feel it and process it. And then just like totally go into like dating yourself and like figuring out yourself and what you like and focusing on school. Like honestly, it's kind of a perfect time for it to happen. Like if there is a perfect time. And then I think as far as like trusting moving forward, I think as long as you do the hard work of healing and processing like what you went through, then when you find the right person who makes you feel secure and loved and like you've done the work to heal, I think it all comes together.
Yeah.
But I think where it becomes hard and you kind of repeat the cycle of not being able to trust is when you still have a lot of damage that's like unprocessed.
Yeah, totally.
So, and it's part of it is a choice. Like I know like when I start dating someone, some stuff from my ex might come up. And I think it's me being like emotionally and mentally mature enough to be like, oh, this is leftover and this is not this person's fault. So it's almost like I have to like cut the situation and process it on my own because I can't always throw that onto somebody else when it's like not their, they haven't done anything and it's not their fault that I feel these like lingering fears, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree with Taryn. I would give yourself, I love like a 2 week of like wallowing is necessary. I mean, no makeup, no hair, like being in bed with your chocolates, crying with tissues, like how to lose a guy in 10 days. Like that episode of her friend, like losing her mind over her breakup. Like, I think we all like laugh at that. But that's necessary if you don't want to be grieving or mourning the loss of the relationship for the next 6 months to a year. So I think give yourself 2 weeks to wallow, to cry, to mourn, to not be anything other than sad. And then once that 2 weeks up, pick a day, even set it now, like make the date now, like make a dinner reservation with you and your girls, with you and your family, something to end the 2-week mourning period and to start the process of like, okay, now we're focusing on me. And then I agree with Taryn, this is perfect timing. You're going to school to be a doctor. That's going to take up your whole life. So like, what an excellent time to like kind of segue into this new chapter of like, I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on school. I'm going to focus on work and my career and like what I'm going to build my foundation for the rest of my future, you know? So I think this is actually excellent timing. And I think if you really hone in on getting over this mourning period and focusing on that and really feeling everything, then like moving forward, it'll be great.
I agree.
I'm excited for you.
Okay, in my defense, is my microphone not going lower?
It is falling.
Okay, so I was right.
Probably because you touched it. Today's episode is brought to you by Pair Eyewear. So we are officially in August, but that doesn't mean the summer things stop. I don't know about you guys, but I have plenty of beach days planned, some camping trips planned. As long as the sun is out, I will be out having fun. And wherever the sunny days take you, a pair of sunglasses should always be within reach. With Pair Eyewear, you can switch from prescription frames to sunglasses for UV protection or polarization in a snap. This summer, you can set your kid at heart free with their new Mickey and Friends collection, from playful patterns to subtle nods. It features iconic characters like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and more. Explore the new collection and find your style, and you can get 15% off your first pair by using code ADVICE at paireyewear.com. Whether you're a Disney adult or not, you cannot deny that the Mickey and Friends collection is so cute. Donald Duck was always my favorite character, so he's the one I would go with. And can we talk about their sun tops? Pair's sun tops are the ultimate summer companion. It can be so annoying walking around with 2 pairs of glasses. So try Pair sun tops. They go with any design and collection, and you can pick out different ones for different moods you might have. And the thing we love the most about Pair is they make it so affordable to change your look with top frames starting at $25. Having the same pair of glasses for 2 years is something our grandparents had to deal with, but not today. Pair makes it so easy and affordable to change your look with top frames starting at only $25. They're so easy to switch out, and they're so cute. And if you're the type of person who needs to try a pair on to see if they fit or look good on you, guess what? You can with Pair's virtual try-on. They have base frames for men, women, and kids that you can virtually try on starting at $60. So celebrate friendship and adventure this summer with Pair Eyewear. Go to paireyewear.com and use code ADVICE, ADVICE, for 15% off your first pair, and mention that Unsolicited Advice sent you in your post-checkout survey to support me and Taryn. That's Pair, P-A-I-R, eyewear.com, code ADVICE. All right, are you ready for a Tearing It Up?
Yeah, Ash.
Okay, here we go. Hi, guys. I listen to your podcast every single Monday. My name is Sandra, and you guys can say my name. I'm currently a junior at the University of Portland. I'm double majoring in secondary education and English. For context, my ex-boyfriend and I got together in high school during COVID. He was a senior, and I was a sophomore in high school at the time. We dated up until the fall semester of my freshman year of uni and his sophomore year of uni. I broke up with him 3 days after my 19th birthday on December 16th. I tried to make it as smooth as possible, but it was not a smooth breakup whatsoever. We had a lot of issues, and my stepdad being taken by ICE was the cherry on top of those issues. December 16th also happens to be the last day of the fall semester. We also go to the same college. And going to the same school wasn't planned. I applied to 15 different universities as a senior in high school, and I knew I was going to go wherever I got offered the most money. I was never going to follow a guy just for the sake of keeping a relationship. Anyways, back to the story. We had come back to campus for the spring semester, and I was feeling a lot better about the breakup. I hadn't gotten ready in forever, so I put myself together and went to grab a sweet treat at one of the dining halls. For reference, I live on campus and he does not. As I entered that dining hall, I see it's more crowded than usual, so I go to the only open 2-seated table that I can see. Only then did I notice that my ex was sitting on the table behind this one. When I realized the shirt on the guy in the table across from me looked oddly familiar, I realized it was my ex. I then also realized that he was with a girl who also had noticed me. So I got up and moved out of there really, really fast.
Yeah.
It was super awkward because the girl lived in the same dorm that I lived in. I think he saw me too, and to this day, I don't know what the hell I was thinking when it took me that long to realize it was him. I see him around campus at times, but I still pretend to not see him. And I'm so grateful that this is the last year I'll be seeing him on campus since he'll be graduating anyways. I hope you enjoy listening to my tearing it up, sending y'all the absolute best wishes. And she included a photo of her.
Oh, cute.
So I feel like she sent that because we talked about like how often you see your ex and how I never see my ex.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know what I would do. I feel like at this point I would just like like stunned, jaw to the floor, not know what to do, freeze, not be able to move because I'd be like.
Yeah. So I did follow my ex to college and which
the one thing I say not to do.
Very judged by your statement. And yeah, after we broke up, it was the worst. And because we lived in the dorms that were like next to each other.
Right.
So we'd see each other all the time. And then like I'd be in class and I would like look up and like, you know, like the doors in school have those like skinny windows.
Yes.
And like one time I like looked up and he was like peeking in and then really quickly like moved his head.
Oof.
And then he also, in one of our many closure conversations, he said, he's like, yeah, I passed your truck the other day and I just like looked in because I was just like wondering like what you've been up to. And that was the last straw where I like called my mom and I was like sobbing and I was like, please, can I move back in with you guys? Because like I can't live here. Like it was torture, which is funny because like he's the one who like didn't want to get back together, but he like was just so worried about like checking on me.
Part of me, I was like, the more that I know about this guy, I'm like, was that just him just playing the good guy, like playing the like
I don't know, Ashley. We've tried to figure out what exactly happened many times, and I don't know. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our first story. This one is titled Platonic. How do you say it? Platonic boy best friends.
Ooh.
Have you ever had one?
No.
I don't think you have, huh?
No, I've never had a platonic male best friend, but I have seen the show Platonic. So that's my insight for this.
There's a show called Platonic?
Yeah, with Seth Rogen and what's her name? Uh-oh, I just blanked. She's Australian. She has short brown hair.
Oh.
She's really funny. She's an Insidious.
Didn't they did Neighbors together?
Yes.
Oh
What is her name?
I didn't know they have a show. I could not tell you.
Yeah, they had a show called Platonic, and I think it was on Apple TV, or I don't remember.
Oh my gosh,
I
love them together.
It was so funny
to watch that.
Yeah. You'd love it.
I did. Like,
yes, you did.
Best friend to the point where like we used to always argue because I said when I got married, he was going to be my man of honor, and he would be like, absolutely not. But I'm like, yes, you are, because you're my like actual best friend.
Yeah.
And that to this date, that friendship breakup was so traumatic for me. And I feel like I did more damage than like my actual relationship because like, it was such a bad one. But anyways, so maybe that's why I gravitated towards this.
Makes sense.
Okay. Hi, Ashley and Taryn. I've been a fan of the podcast for almost 4 years now. I grew up as a fan of Alicia, which introduced me to both of you. Which
makes sense.
Alicia is Ashley's sister, if you didn't know. A lot of the stories told on the pod have helped me get through a few things when I felt very alone. So I just wanted to say thank you for giving me an escape from the real world for an hour every Monday.
Oh, I love that.
I know, me too. Anyway, let's get into the story. You guys can know my name. It's but I'd like to stay anonymous. To give a little background, I'm going to be a sophomore in college this upcoming fall, and I went through a pretty toxic breakup my senior year of high school. My ex was very controlling and manipulative, which ultimately led me to have to call the police on him for no contact to occur.
Whoa.
That young?
Yeah.
That's wild. So going into my freshman year of college, I didn't want anything close to a relationship. I wanted to be single and truly be able to find myself because after my breakup, I was extremely lost. College has helped me find myself, and I've gained an amazing group of friends since being there. One friend in particular I got extremely close with. Let's call him Alex. Alex and I became very close from always being in a study room with all our mutual friends. Sure enough, we started to become closer and closer. He became the person I would tell everything to. But it wasn't like I chose that, and I'll explain that more. He would always ask me very personal questions, which led me to open up about a lot of things. He asked me about my ex and was always like, I'm here to talk if you need someone to talk to. He also once found me crying in the hallway when I was on the phone with my ex, and that's what made me more comfortable talking to him about the situation because he would always just sit there and listen. Some of my friends at home would just tell me that I'm stupid for talking to him, and I knew that, and I just wanted to vent, and he was the one I could vent to. This was very comforting knowing that I didn't have the most supportive friends at home to talk about the situation. We became so comfortable around each other that I would talk to him about boy problems and he would talk to me about him and his girlfriend. Yes, I forgot to mention he has a girlfriend. She is from his hometown and they have been together quite a while. She also goes to school a plane ride away. But whenever he talked about her, I never got weird or jealous because we were just friends. He truly just felt like a best friend, and it so happened that he was a boy. As the school year went on, we spent more nights, late nights might I add, together, but it was always us sitting in the study room doing homework, never crossing a line. We soon ended up getting dinner every week at the same time and going on hikes together. This is when I could feel our dynamic shift a little bit, in a way where I felt as if it was crossing a little bit of a line. If I was his girlfriend and he was staying up most nights with another girl, getting to know her and going on hikes and getting dinner, I don't know how okay or secure I would feel about that. The end of the year was approaching and my roommates had already moved out and he asked to come hang out. This was normal as every break he would come hang out as I packed. He would also always write me a handwritten note, leave it on my desk, and leave it for me to read when I got back from break. This break was no different, so he asked for paper to write me a note. Every other note he had written was just one index card. This note was 5 index cards. I could tell he was acting weird that night, but I didn't want anything to happen, so I didn't say anything. He finished writing his notes, handed it to me, and told me to read it. I said no because I had a feeling something weird was in it, and I wanted to react to it on my own later instead of in front of him.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Me, I'm like, I'm so nervous already.
Yeah. He left and I read it. And it had weird things in it, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It started off with him saying how much he enjoyed getting to know me this year and how much I have made his first year of college so special. Then towards the end, he said how he gets jealous when I tell him about guys I'm talking to. Since we are so close, I would tell him everything that happened to me, including my boy troubles. He continued to say it shouldn't affect him or bother him, but it does, and that he knows I deserve way better. Mm-hmm. Even though this just sounds like a nice send-off letter, it left me very confused on what he meant by it. I couldn't tell if he thought I deserved better or if he could be the one to treat me better. I truly only like him as a friend, and I don't want our friendship to be ruined, but I'm scared the dynamic has already been thrown off. He is also living below me next year, so I will still have to be good friends with him. I don't know how to go about this situation knowing he has a girlfriend. On my end, I feel like I haven't crossed any lines, but I know if I were his girlfriend in this situation, I would feel very betrayed and wouldn't know how to move forward. If him and his girlfriend break up this summer, I still wouldn't feel any romantic connection to him because I truly just see him as a best friend. Basically, I'm just asking, what are your views on the situation and if I should cut him off or let him know that he could be crossing line? Thank you in advance. Love you girls the mostest.
Wow.
Eek.
That's sticky.
These situations where it's like you can get very lost in the technicalities.
Right.
Which I feel like every terrible situation in anyone's life, at one point in the beginning, you focused in on the technicalities.
Yes,
like,
correct.
Technically, I didn't do anything. Technically, I didn't say I like them. Technically, we only cuddled. Like, I feel like when you find yourself getting lost in the technicalities, you should probably reevaluate if you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Time to take a step back and look at the full picture, not just the minute little detail where you didn't actually do anything bad. This is very delicate. And there's so many questions I have. Like, do you want to keep this relationship, this friendship? Do you want to like, make a big deal out of this? Do you want to ignore it? There's so many like different ways you could go about this. And I don't know how you feel. Do you get jealous when you hear about him talk about his girlfriend? It doesn't sound like it.
She said no. And she said, even if they broke up, she would not even be like interested in romantically. So I think for her, it's purely just platonic, and like he's an easy person to talk to.
Yeah. So then I feel like there's two ways to like really go about doing this. There's the like forgive and forget. Like he said his little piece and you don't make a big deal about it and you kind of like laugh it off, and to like save the relationship, just be like, you goofball, you have nothing to be jealous of. Like you're my bestie. You're my bestie. You're my number one. Like they come and go, but you know, besties are for life. You can literally like word it so casually to where he gets the message and you don't have to have an actual heart-to-heart like conversation / heartbreaking moment, because he didn't actually say anything. Like that's probably the way that I would go. Or you could do a check-in is what I would call it. And I would just be like, hey, your note. Do you want to talk about it? Is this something we should discuss? Do we need to clear some things up? Do you want to, you know, whatever. But I feel like he doesn't actually want to have that conversation. I think he was kind of testing the waters. And if you did a little like, you have nothing to be jealous of, you're my number one bestie and it's besties for life. Like these other guys, like they're going to be coming in and out, but like you're the bestie. I feel like he would get the picture. I feel like you don't have to have like the whole breakdown.
It's so funny because I feel like our different advice that we give is so relevant to like our personality types. Like Ash is very like non-confrontational. Like I don't want to make things weird.
Yeah.
And I'm very like, I would say I'm the definition of a rip the Band-Aid person. Like that's how I approach things. But yeah, for me, it doesn't sound like everything you've told about like why you're friends with him, you've been very like, well, it was convenient. Well, he asked me this question, so I told him. So I don't think that he's like your person where you're like, I would be devastated if I lost him. That's not the vibe I'm getting. And once a line is crossed like that, things get weird. And I think the fact that you've been thinking a lot about his girlfriend and like I wouldn't like this if I were his girlfriend. I feel like you're kind of naturally coming to a point where like this might not be a friendship that's safe to like invest in. And I remember like right around the end of college is where I shifted as a person, where I was like, okay, life is hard. I've been through a lot. I've been hurt. I've had people come in and out of my life. I only want to invest my time and energy in friendships that I see being with me forever. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I was like, I know when I get married someday, it's not going to be cool for me to be like, hey, I'm going to go watch the game at, I almost said my ex-best friend's name. We're going to call him Chad. I'm going to go hang out with Chad and like we're sitting on the couch just alone, like whatever. Like I know that's not going to be a sustainable friendship.
Right.
So it's not that I cut those off, but I just changed the dynamic of where I was pouring the majority of my time and attention into. Mm-hmm. And I think that you'll find that the older you get, you'll see that too. I think he was being very strategic to like hint at it, but be like, I don't know why I'm feeling jealous. This is so weird. Like he's trying to make you make a move. And if I were you, I would literally just text him and be like, dude, what was like that note? Like we're just friends. And if I'm honest, like I feel like I'm uncomfortable now. Like you have a girlfriend. I've always thought like we're just friends and it's never crossed that line. So moving forward, I feel like we need to really clarify like what this is, because now I feel like I'm involved in you kind of like disrespecting your girlfriend, and it's put me in like a really weird position. And I would almost be like annoyed. Like, why did you do that? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think to move forward, you have to address it, because if not, every time he does anything for you, now in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, okay, well, is this because he likes me? Yeah. And it's just going to get weird. Yeah. So I don't think you have to cut him off, but I do think maybe, you know, hanging out with him at night alone and like always going out to dinners, like just the two of you, maybe that stuff needs to like kind of fade away.
Yeah. Well, especially whether he said something or not, if you're getting those feelings and thinking about the girlfriend.
Or like, why is the girlfriend not coming around? It's like, that's something I would be.
She goes to a different school. A Plane Ride Away.
Oh, Plane Right Away. I missed that. I read that, but I missed it. ADHD. But I think that like maybe like the next time she's in town or something, being like, oh my gosh, I would like love to hang out with her. And if
Let's have a girl's day.
Yeah, if he is at all trying to keep you two separate, I think that's a huge flag in itself.
Big indicator, yeah.
But yeah, I think you just need to think about what you want moving forward and see like, is this a sustainable friendship, or is this knowing that he definitely was like trying to like subtly make a move? Even the fact that he wanted you, because you said he always left you a note to read when you came back from break, but the fact that he handed it to you and was like, read it, like, ew.
He wanted to have the conversation.
He wanted something to happen. So I think it's up to you, like whatever approach you do, it depends.
What if he has feelings for her?
I think that it'd be different if him and his girlfriend broke up and then he told her like, hey, that's a beautiful conversation that can happen. Mm-hmm. What is ew to me is the fact that he is like, has a girlfriend, but is putting feelers out with someone and like putting that person, you know how triggered I get at people being put into the other woman category. I think it's like sucks. And so I feel like it would have been beautiful if he handled his business first. Mm-hmm. But usually guys do that to see like, oh, is there a possibility of something happening? And then they go and like break up with their person. Yeah. But if she says, oh, I'm not interested, he can play it off as like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I meant jealous of your time, and then continues to be with his girlfriend. Like that's what's ew to me. Like make a move, but like do it in the right, like respectful way.
Got it.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Not me getting triggered, but I don't have any experience of that.
That's a tough one.
This is
but also like kind of classic. Like,
oh yeah,
it's very hard to have an actually platonic friendship.
Yes,
and it's very rare for two people to genuinely have want the best for each other and love each other in a strictly friendship way.
Yeah.
I think when you do see that is really awesome. But I do think 99% of the time, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like it's like someone tends to catch feelings,
One person,
especially at that age, you know, where you're just like so much is going on, and then hormones are all over the place, and all of a sudden you're looking at your bestie, you know, you've been friends for so long, and all of a sudden you're like, she's kind of hot all of a sudden. Like, when did that happen? You know?
Yeah, and you're basically
you change so much at that age,
fulfilling
physically.
What the girlfriend can't because she's gone. Like you're the person he's getting like quality time with, and like probably like emotional validation, and it's just
makes perfect sense.
He needs to figure out his own stuff before bringing you in. But you said no matter what he does, you don't see him romantically.
Yeah, make that clear.
I think that means you need to like definitely shut that down so he's not like, well, maybe in the future.
100% yes. He does need to know.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get into mine. I'm very excited for this one. Hi, ladies. I would like to stay anonymous. I really need your guys' advice with this one. It's a pretty sensitive subject where I don't feel like I can share the context of the situation with anyone close to me. First off, let me give you some background on myself. I am 25 years old, and my fiance and I have been engaged for 6 months now. We've been together for around 2.5 years total, and it's been absolutely amazing and a real learning experience overall about myself. My fiance has helped me grow a lot, and I think I have done the same for him. I truly love him with all my heart, but there are still some times where I have a hard time believing and trusting that he truly thinks I'm the person for him. I know this is an insecurity of mine that I need to get a hold of, but sometimes I can't shake it, and I don't know if it's my gut trying to tell me something. Anyways, this brings me to what I did.
Oh, no.
As you can tell from the title, I didn't say it.
I was like, wait, what's the title?
But here's the title. I read my fiance's journal. I know this is wrong and a complete invasion of privacy. It's just as bad, and if not worse, as going through someone's phone. We both write, and it is very therapeutic to us. We've always had a mutual understanding about not going through each other's things, so I'm not sure what possessed me to read it. He recently bought a new notebook, and I saw it on our desk while he was in the shower, and I opened it to see if he had written anything yet. I saw that he had, and had read something that caught my eye. He wrote about his gay girl best friend that he's had for over 8 years now. I've never been jealous of this friendship of theirs, and I've always respected it. I think she is a great person, and I actually knew her before I knew my fiancé. She has recently married herself, and we are all pretty good friends. When I say he wrote about her, he wasn't writing things you would say about a friend. He was describing her in an extremely romantic way. He was writing about feelings he once had and how he's been able to hold back these feelings of his to keep the friendship. From the little stanza I read, it seemed like a very romantic writing about her. From my interpretation, it still seemed like he may have feelings. I closed the journal and I didn't know what to do. You see, just a few months ago, we had a conversation where I asked him if he ever had feelings for one of his friends before, and he told me no. So I knew this was something I needed to talk to him about because it felt like he lied, but I knew I had just deeply invaded his privacy. Nonetheless, I confronted him about it.
I feel like I haven't. I was like, why do I feel like I'm going to pass out? I was like not breathing.
Yeah. Oh, same. He was initially calm, but began to feel very betrayed that I read his journal. He said he's never told anyone about these feelings he's had for her and has kept it to himself for so long. He said that there are just some things he feels are too private to him that he didn't feel needed to be shared. Now, I can agree with that to a certain extent, but I feel like if the things you are keeping private are your feelings for another woman, that's not okay to me, especially going into a marriage. I feel deeply hurt myself that he would write about another woman in such a way, whether the feelings still exist or not. He realizes that I'm hurt, but has trouble with the fact that I went through his things, and rightfully so. I'm going to add that.
Yeah.
He says that he feels that trust is broken, and he was crying about the whole situation because it's a whole mess to him and myself. I found myself comforting him more than anything and took complete accountability for my actions where he has taken very little. I somewhat feel like he's made me believe that I have no right to feel upset as he does because I went looking for something that wasn't supposed to ever be shared. He said he'll need time to get over what I did, which I understand, but I feel so alone in the situation and like my hurt doesn't matter. I'm not even sure if my feelings are valid either. I'm just stuck. Thank you for reading this. I'm so sorry it was long, but any advice helps. Love you both so much.
Oh,
now we take a deep breath together.
I have a tummy ache.
Stuff like this is difficult.
So rough.
And we've talked about this on the podcast before. We've had a lot of women write in where they were like, I had a feeling, I had this gut feeling I couldn't shake. So I went through his phone. Or I went through his DMs, and guess what? My gut feelings were right. So I'm not saying that you were wrong in trusting your gut instincts, because I think your gut was trying to tell you something. You felt something off, and that was right. But it is never okay to go through someone's things like that. I think it would have been so much better to express those feelings and just be like, hey, like, I'm struggling over here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling this, and I need to talk about it. Is there anything going on? You know, like if someone went through not like I'm a journaler, but if someone went through my phone, that would be is extremely violating. It's hard to get past.
It's so different though, because going through someone's phone is possibly catching them make an action that they were hoping would stay secret.
They were being sneaky.
A journal is a safe space where you get to write out the thoughts that you're like struggling with, ashamed with, whatever. My journal, I'm telling you right now, like if someone read through my journal, I would be so incredibly upset, because that's the place that I go to when I'm like really struggling with how to process something.
Yeah.
And so when you're reading through someone's journal, you're not reading through like, oh, I'm going to see if I catch them talking to someone.
Yeah.
You're going deep into
their heart,
like
their soul.
Yeah.
Honestly, their therapy. Like I feel like any journaling I've ever done, it's because my emotions were so high. So it was a form of therapy. The small bit of writing that I have done. And
Well,
I couldn't, it's not like slimy DMs.
no.
It's such a drastic difference.
That's where, like, with the phone, I'm like, I get it. It's an invasion of privacy, whatever. But also, why were you DMing her? Like, you only have so much of a foot to stand on.
Yes.
Where a journal is like him processing stuff, like that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And what makes me the most sad is how much he like trusted her by like, it was just out on his desk. Like it wasn't even in his mind that she would read it. So like that makes me sad.
And it's also not like a teenage journal where there's like a lock and everything. Like it's just like he clearly felt safe to leave his journal out and open. So that's a real bummer. Also, to be clear, we are on your side, Anonymous. Like we're here to help you. But if he had feelings for his friend, he had already gotten it knocked down when she came out as gay. He had already gotten it like knocked down when they got married or when she started dating. So this is something he's clearly been struggling with like for a while. And that was never supposed to see the light of day, you know? And like that's supposed to be his safe place where he can like process through things. There's things I would never say out loud that I have, that like feelings that I have, things I've experienced, family stuff like that's in my journal that is not for anyone to see. And yeah, if Jackson like opened it up and started reading, I'd be devastated. I'd be like, that's not yours.
This is where giving advice is really, really hard sometimes because there's two sides of your brain, right? Like there's like the logistical, realistic, I'm looking at this in a way where I'm looking at all sides. But then there's like, you throw your emotions in and it's like all that goes out the door.
Jeez, yeah.
If I were you, which I mean, I feel like we're addressing the journal part because it is important to address. And it sounds like you know that. Like that was like a huge invasion.
Yeah.
But if I were getting married and I had to read about how someone I love and am committing my life to still thinks about feelings of someone else, I can't imagine how devastated I would feel. So I am not trying to limit that. Like you have every right to feel that. I would be the exact same.
That would wreck me.
But obviously me being like removed from the situation and looking from an outside, I think that like, I don't know. I think that you can be fully in love with someone and want to be with them. But that if there's a person in your life that you had an emotional tie to or you had these unrequited feelings for, I don't think that necessarily that just goes away or that is a reflection of what you now have. Like I have people in my life that I have loved with my whole being, that even if I was like in a relationship and like with someone and happy, if they like popped around, there's no telling if like those like little gut, like I wouldn't feel a little gut punch and be like, ugh, like, you know, it's that person. That doesn't mean that I would want to be with them or that makes me question anything. And so that's where it's like hard because I don't think that that's necessarily a reflection. And if I were having those conversations with him, I would be much more focused on, okay, well, like, explain to me like what this means. Is this a like, this is my long lost love and I regret all the time that nothing could have happened? Was this just you had an encounter with her and you were just getting it out because you were like, oh, that was weird that I still like felt that way? Like I would want to hear from him without that fear of like judgment or me getting mad. Like what is this? Is this just like you were just gushing over how much you like love her as a person? What am I looking at here? Like, how am I to ensure that if we get married and one day she tells you, I've always had feelings for you, is this something where it's like you would want to be with her, or then you would start to like, what's it called? Like when, oh my gosh, hello? Like if someone like gives up a job to like be with you and then they start to
sacrifice?
Resent.
Oh,
thank you, dear God.
Good job.
You start to like resent being with me because like you desire like her and the life you could have had with her. Like I would want to know more about that. And I think with time, as he's able to like, I really would tell him like, let's look at this situation as two things. the issue of me reading your journal, for sure. When we have that conversation, I will never defend, like, I was in the wrong. I totally understand. You have every right to be upset.
Yeah.
Now let's just to the side how I read this information. We've already dealt with it, but I know it now. So like we have to address it.
Yeah. I think that's the perfect way to word it.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's any other way to do it. I think every time the journal thing gets brought up, I agree with Taryn. That was your fault. You should not have done that. And say that and make it clear to him every time he brings it back up. You're right. I know. I am so sorry. And then once you're done talking about that, you can pivot and you can be like, okay, but like, how do we fix how I feel now? Because in the end, now I know that you have feelings for someone else.
Also, I'm sorry, but she's out. If I'm you, like, and I don't know if that sounds like intense, but for me, I'm like, okay, if you're choosing this life with me, and I know that you guys have been friends for forever, but obviously your interactions with her, like,
even it doesn't matter that she's gay or in a relationship.
No.
Like I literally just read that you still are attracted to her. You still have feelings for her.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you looking at her. I don't want to see you hug her hi or goodbye. Like, that's going to bother me. So,
and that's going to be a hard one for him to take for sure. But I think for me, moving forward, if he sees how much this impacted me and he knows how much it affects me, like when she's around, that's going to be eventually a deal breaker of like, you kind of got to choose, bro.
If this relationship is going to work out, I foresee like a slow separation between him and her, the friend. And like you as a couple, just like slowly distancing yourself. You don't want to make her feel bad. She did nothing wrong, but like I feel like there would have to be, it's one of those situations where you can't say anything, you can't do anything about it. And the best situation is to just like slowly separate and hope for the best that she doesn't take it like too personally. She probably will if they're actual best friends. So like that's going to suck too.
Dude, imagine like, okay, say like you're dating someone. I'm not even going to use Jackson as an example because this would never happen. But like say like you were in a relationship and then your person, let alone, let's say just simply was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I used to have a crush on Taryn. Ha ha ha, that was funny.
Sorry, what?
Whatever. And then me and you, like I'm always around. Like even just that, you're probably gonna have a few times where you're like, he's laughing a little too hard at her jokes or like
he
whatever.
Her a little too long. Or
So just that. But you'd be like, okay, it was a crush. It was back in the day.
We all have crushes.
He loves me now.
Yes.
Like we're moving forward.
He chose me. He's with me.
Yes. But then imagine if it's not that, but it's like I've always had feelings for her. And like just last week, he's still writing about how he has feelings for me. You're never going to want me in the same room.
And I feel like the difference is having a crush on someone versus it sounds like was kind of in love with her and then she came out as gay.
Yeah.
And so that's the unrequited, which is almost worse because now he is in love with this like fantasy of what they could have been.
Yeah.
And that's almost worse because there's nothing he can do about it, So it's just forever going to be one of those, like, I wonder what could have happened if she had chosen me or we had been able to be together. So that's really difficult to process and settle in with those feelings. And like you can't help your feelings every time she walks into the room. Like my gut, if like that happened to me, I would immediately look at my boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever the situation is, and just be like watching him the entire time with every interaction. And
which,
you
like,
don't want that.
That's not a fun way to have a relationship. And so I think it does have to come to a point where you guys both put your lines of what you're willing or not willing to do. Yeah. And if you can both mutually respect each other's lines, then there's a hope of moving forward. Yeah. But
I really only foresee like two things happening. I think in the end, because he is about to be a married man and his friend is a married woman, I think the best thing for him is actually distance.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing for you, Anonymous, is distance. So I think the best plan moving forward is to slowly separate and distance yourself from this friendship with her. If he's unwilling to do that for his own reasons, which he's allowed to have those reasons because they have, a friendship together, I actually see this being a deal breaker.
Yeah, I do too.
And I didn't want to say that in the beginning because I was like, I don't, it's just such a bummer. But
well, and we don't know we don't know you. We don't know him. We don't know her. We don't know like the ins and outs. So like we can only say what the picture we're forming in our mind is. So us even saying that doesn't mean that this is for you.
For me.
Or it could be.
From what I know.
From our experience, our like knowledge of our own skills.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't. Like
it would be all consuming for me. Yeah. It would be all I think about. It would,
Does that mean I'm not secure? Maybe. I don't care.
Possibly. But like also the journal was the proof that that's the nail in the coffin for me. Like, okay, like that's forever just like my Roman Empire now. Like I'm just forever going to think about your relationship, your friendship with them, so realistically, that's what I see. And I think if you just are able to have that conversation of like this, you need to decide this for yourself, but you need to decide if you can or cannot live with this. And he needs to decide like if he realistically, he needs to be honest. Now that it's out in the open, like let's just be honest and talk about it. Like, is it hard when she's in the room?
Well, and
is
like,
it
what
difficult?
What is he building for with that friendship?
Yeah.
Anyways, like if I'm choosing somebody else,
it's almost for like nostalgic purposes.
Yeah, like why would I still hang out with someone that makes me have those feelings? Yeah. Like I would choose to like
distance yourself.
Yeah, just be with that person and be like, I'm sorry, but like I have to focus on her. She's my priority. And the more distance there is, the more like those feelings fade away.
Yeah, and we all have exes, we all have past, but there's a reason you don't hang out with your exes. You know, there's a reason I don't want to go, have family dinner with Jackson and like some guy I've dated. Like that's not okay. Yeah. And I think, viewing it more like in that way makes it a little easier. So maybe like explain that to him. Like this isn't just a friend. This is someone you like clearly. It was more than a crush. You're writing about her. Yeah. So like you loved her. And I don't want to be around her now. So like, I am so sorry. This is just one of those sucky situations.
But I do think that's why you have to separate it because I feel he has every right to be upset about the journal, but I do think you have some valid things that you need to talk to him about. Yes. So if he keeps bringing it back to the journal and whatever, it's like you've got to have almost like a rough conversation with him of like, look, I get it. I've addressed it. I understand.
We've all had
But now we need to talk about this where you cannot throw it back and gaslight me of like, well, this is your fault that you read that understood. Yeah. But now let's talk about the issue. Yeah. And like, you cannot bring up the journal anymore. Like we just need to talk about like
not
your
when,
feelings.
Yeah. Not when talking about this friendship.
Yeah.
I think if you guys do stay together and make this work, which I really hope so, then you're going to have to prove yourself to him because he's not going to trust you for a while.
Ugh.
Like I wouldn't. That would be
trust is
my journal would be
worst.
with me at all times. Like I wouldn't leave my phone around you. It's just that's just how it is, and it's probably going to take years to like build that back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very sorry. Figure out what your boundaries are first. If this is a deal breaker or not, what you want to do moving forward if you do stay together with this friend of his. And then have that conversation and really try to say what we said and make it clear, like how you can't have her around anymore.
Yeah. Woof.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. This is a very rough one. We're definitely going to need an update on this one.
Please send an update. And for all the other listeners out there, if you have similar situations where you've like had like an unrequited past relationship, like ruin a current one, please send in those stories because there's people out there experiencing it in real time that need help.
Seriously. All right. Well, I'm going to end us in a dad joke on that heavy note.
And that's what the dad jokes are for.
Hopefully you bring up the mood slightly. I feel like I might have read this one already.
I'll let you know.
Also, if I haven't, I definitely think this is one you could guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why can't leopards play hide and seek? Come on, Ash. Dig deep.
Why can't leopards play hide and seek? I don't know.
Because they're always spotted.
Damn it.
I felt like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Thanks.
Guys, if you made just a dad joke, you already know the drill. We love you the mostest. Send in your stories. This is your chance, your opportunity, your friendly reminder to send in your stories so we have content to record. Okay,
Yes,
we need you. This is
please.
your part in the relationship. And we'll have a new episode coming out soon.
Also, wait, I feel like we should do, if you've had any like near death experiences.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
someone
that could
thrown
be like
anything at your car?
Yeah, I feel like just in general.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Send it in.
Send it in.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.